Hey, what up, man? So, I think about the time I used to have with my grandma, man. You know what I'm saying? And uh, we ended up having to live with my grandma, like from between the time I was like, I think I want to say like probably like 12 or 13 to like 18. So I mean, um, trust believe me, bro. When people act like you don't know what the bottom is, bro, you don't know like what like being poor, not poor, nigga, can't afford the OR is, bro. I know what that shit is. All right. So either way, man, my grandma loved us to death, bro. Like going over Mamay's house was like one of the highlights of the week, you know. But when we started living with her, that shit changed, bro. But we still her credit. Like, hell, she done raised what 4 kids, and she's still working at the time before she hurt her shoulder. And it's your time for you to have your time, and not deal with kids all the time. Pretty much you don't have to deal with raised kids all over again. But despite that, man, her agitation at the time, man, she was still extremely loving, and most importantly, she was wise, man. She was wise. The thing that we have in today's community is, and especially with people my grandma's age dying out, I'll say anyone over the age like 60 and older at this point, is after them, bro, it's a huge dearth in wisdom. All right, it's automatically assumed that with age comes maturity and wisdom, but especially in this day and age, in this time, that's just not true. You can see it from the aspect of the 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds. Okay, if a person hadn't reached a certain level of maturity and wisdom, I'll say by their mid-30s, man, that's pretty much their mentality. The person you meet at let's say 33 to 35, that's the way that person is going to be for the rest of their lives. Okay, and what we keep having is due to if you want to blame it on propaganda and media and social engineering and all those things, you can, but at the same time, I mean, the people before you had it much worse, and they were still able to keep it separate and put themselves in a situation where they had a certain level of wisdom. Mind you, with less opportunities for and a lesser level of education. A person that grew up, man, in the 40s and the 50s, right? You have access to the knowledge in your hand through your smartphone that it would have took them a lifetime to even be introduced to, just by having to go to a library and get a book, or request a book by mail and have it mailed to you and wait for it to come in the mail. That's even if you were made privy to it, that you even know they existed, man. You know what I'm saying? You can literally hear a person talk about something, Google it, and have a rundown of whatever it is from start to finish. And what we need to start reinitiating and encouraging is wisdom from the older people, bro, versus just like trying to be cool. You know what I'm saying? And trying to be accepted and trying to like that's the thing. As a parent and as an elder, you're supposed to guide the youth and the people under you in the right direction. All right, you're not supposed to care about and it's more so your elders are more like a parental standpoint, even when they're not. I remember back in the day, man. Like I said, when you come to a older lady, like, you know, a grandma, anybody over the age, you know, you can tell when somebody was like, you know, a grandmother's age versus like a mom's age. They garner a certain level of respect just off top. You know what I'm saying? You'll never hear a kid cuss in the midst of a grandparent or like older people. You know, if dudes was drinking or whatever, you know, they hide that bottle. You know what I'm saying? They take that cigarette out their mouth. You know, they do those type things. And today, man, like I say, we've just degraded such to a point of where, and again, I say it's the fault of the current quote unquote elders that level of respect isn't garnered, because these kids and these younger generations see you as their peers. You know, me included, bro. I can tell you, and I'm 35, so you know, I was in high school with people that are being like their 40s and shit now, right? But the generation and those people in front of me, I'll say that's like 45 or better, bro. I can just see on the daily of people with like social media pages and shit in that age group and the shit they're talking about, man and female, from you know the black male and black female. You know, the way they went about handling life, and also the results. Look, man, at the end of the day, another big thing too everybody seems to forget is how you gonna tell me something if you ain't got nothing? Alright? And that's why, again, a lot of these things that you know, this age ain't number but a number mentality is coming true, because what do you have that I don't have at 25 and you're 45 or you're 55? You don't have no house. You know, if you're a female, all your kids are by different dudes. You ain't never been married. You know, you're not intelligent. You don't really have that. You out here cussing and fussing and stuff over social media at you know, late 40s, even into your 50s, getting into spats and things. And mind you, you know, at times that is what it is. It's required at times. But at the same time, man, like I said, you're supposed to be above certain shit once you get in a certain age bracket, bro. You know what I'm saying? And these kids, you know, and younger adults can see that. They're like, y'all niggas, y'all the same as us. So why the fuck I gotta listen to you? You don't know more than me. You don't have more than me. You know what I'm saying? You're outdated. You're like, you know what I'm saying? Your way of thinking, your understanding of the current world is outdated. So you don't understand what's really going on. So what are you gonna tell me? Because you don't have the foundation of basic wisdom. All right, little parables and things, man. Like, you know, little sayings. Little sayings. Your granddad and your grandma would tell you. You know, like I said, the whole you gotta bend that tree while you're young thing, or like, you know, even, you know, something as far as you know, you'll jump off a bridge. You know, do people even say that even more? You know, if your friends jump off a bridge, you're gonna do it too. That type stuff, man. These things, and you know, far more deeper things to that, man. When you have one-on-one conversations and you have somebody that you can go to, and I think that the lack thereof of that, man, and being able to depend upon the wisdom and the experience and the advice of your elders, that is incredibly detrimental. You know, you look at other cultures and the quote unquote ancestors, that's something they build their culture and their the way they carry their lives about. You know, those people are held in highest regard and highest esteem, and those people are looked to and sought out and sought after for their input and wisdom, because the life they lived is, you know, assumed to be of a certain esteem to where they can guide you down the path. That's real big. And think about what Native American cultures, and Asian cultures. You know, they're extremely heavy on um, uh, ancestral acknowledgement. So it's a challenge. Like I said, man, we are the bridge for the gap. I keep telling y'all this, man. People my age bracket, bro, if you're 35, and I'll even say as low as at this point, yeah, like 33 or so, bro, you gotta tighten up, bro. We gotta tighten up. We gotta get on some wisdom shit, man. We gotta make ourselves distinctly different from the 25-year-old. You know, from the person that's still out here in the street ripping and running, you know, chasing females or you know, having their fun, which is rightfully so, man. You go going through their whole phase. Look, man, nobody's gonna live their life like a prude, bro, like a robot, have no fun and strictly, you know, be on like in books all the time and, you know, all that's unrealistic. But at the same time, like I said, there's a time and a place, all right? You know what I'm saying? When you become a man, you put away childish things, and even there's different levels and different stages in manhood. All right, once you shouldn't be doing the same shit you were doing at 35 as you were doing at hell, even before that. You shouldn't be doing the same shit at 30 that you was doing at 18. You should be doing the same thing at 35 you was doing at 25, and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? You should graduate as a person. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, there's a lot of things you can still do. If you want to go out, you know, I don't think you should be in the hood clubs and you know, popping and bopping around with the 18 to 25-year-olds. I mean, you should be, at least if you want to go out and going out your scene, you should be at some kind of cigar lounge or some kind of jazz spot, more laid back crowd. I even did that early in my like bro. I remember whenever I go home, bro, one of the main things you had when I went home, all the clubs were like hood clubs. And you was gonna leave out that motherfucker smelling like whatever whatever grade of marijuana was popping that night. Like that was like standard. Motherfuckers smoking weed in the club, bro. I don't want to be around that. I'm not trying to deal with that. You know, now, like, you know, back when I was like, you know, early 20s or whatever, I didn't mind. I didn't really give a damn. I didn't care. But now it's like, come on, man, I ain't got time to have to take my shit to the cleaners. You know, and in order to get fucking weed smell out, now I'm eating fucking smoke weed. What's going on, bro? You know what I'm saying? And again, it has to be that separation, bro. Separation is one of the first steps in respect. You know what I'm saying? That's why you let your kids know that, hey, I'm not your friend, I'm your parent. And it's that same thing that has to be done from the eldest perspective and standpoint, man. You know, hey, young fella, you know, it's no disrespect, but we're not on the same level. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna address me and talk to me like you talk to one of your homeboys out here in the street or homegirls or so on and so forth. All right, we gonna sit down, we gonna talk, we go, you know, we can chop it up. We can, you know, we can speak like men and women, because you are an adult. But at the same time, like, hey, you should come to me with a certain, especially if you're coming to me, have a conversation, you come to me with a certain level of respect, because I'm going to respect you, and one of these days, you're going to be in my shoes. You know, as much as I give jokes to the old people or whatever, man, hey, man, that's the goal in life, bro. Getting old is the ultimate blessing. Plenty of people out here that wish they could have lived to see 50 years old, 60 years old, so on and so forth. So like I said, I don't ever, you know, that's tongue in cheek, bro. Whenever I do that, when I'm joking with the older people, that's cool, man. That's great, especially have them still active in these black spaces, you know, because we need their perspective. I mean, again, I think we're getting extremely removed from a lot of the original concepts and ideologies that got us here. And that's why I say that those group of people, like people of my grandma's age, the 70, the 65 or older, or 70-year-old range, once they die out, man, there's gonna be a lot of things missed. Okay, but this went on pretty long, man. You pretty much get the gist of what I'm saying. You gotta we're gonna be the elders. All right, people in my age group, bro, step it up. Start making yourself that example, man. Start making yourself a person that not just your children in your lineage can come to and look for advice, but everybody around them and theirs too, because a lot of these kids don't have that, man. I go in Walmart or any grocery store and see that woman that's by herself, and she got 4 different kids, man. 4 different kids. They're all disheveled. They're nose snotty. 2 buggies, you know she's living in poverty, and one of the kids run around, all these kids are like below the age, I say 8 or younger, kids cussing, and it's like, bro, what chance do those children have? It's gonna be extremely difficult for them to make it out and be assets to society. But is it their fault? No, of course not. They can't help who their parents are. But at the same time, hopefully you know what I'm saying, 10 years from now, when they're 18 years old, they're running to you. And you can stop them and say, hey, look here, young fella or young lady. The way you're doing things isn't the best way to do that, right? You're putting yourself in a bad situation, and this is why, so on and so forth. And you come to them with a certain level of knowledge and experience, man, that, again, hopefully, it's something left that you can ignite and help change their life around. But that's that on that, man. And I'll catch you on the next one.